beautiful, and it fits in with what I would like to share with you today. What a privilege to be here. What a privilege to know that God has called me once again to be able to share how much I love the presence of God in my life. And I appreciate it daily. And I want to thank all of you for praying for my daughter. Things are up. She's walking. She'll be out of rehab in about 2 weeks. And I feel so much better. It's funny how a mother worries, isn't it? And Mary was a mother. Mary worried when she first picked up that baby child and held him in her arms and thought, oh, what is ahead for you? What is going to happen? It's so hard sometimes to realize that that really happened, that story. Oh, maybe not. There's a lot of books out now that say that didn't happen. He wasn't born on Christmas Day, he was born at Easter. Who cares? It's the meaning of the story in our personal lives that is important. What does this story speak to you of? Does it still make your heart kind of quiver when you know Christmas is coming? I thought this year that I wasn't going to put up any decorations, and I haven't yet. And I thought, I'm just going to play humbug this year. I've done it all these years, and, I just don't feel like Christmas this year. Have you ever felt that way? We all have, I'm sure. When things just got so hectic that we wanted to be bah humbug. But I heard my first Christmas carol about a week ago on the radio, and it spoke to my heart, saying, you know that you must come follow me at this time and share in the delight of this beautiful story. So I was at Dalton Bookstore and picked up a book called The Manger by Max Lucado. And I tell you, it was $10. It's worth every penny. You've got to go buy this book. Because it speaks about Mary and how she handled the situation and how this all came about. But Mary was just a child herself. She was only 13 or 14. She was scared to death. She didn't know what to think, what to do. Here, maybe in this day and age, someone would say she was probably schizophrenic because she heard these angels talking to her. She wasn't. She was just a normal girl, waiting for something to happen in her life that had never happened to anyone before, that never knew what it was. Well, I believe inside, and we were talking about us this morning, human nature, that in each of us is a little seed of God. Planted there by how, by who, by what, I don't know. But I believe this is true for all of us. And as we grow spiritually and pray and read the scriptures and take all the scriptures into our hearts, the words become alive for us. And we begin to realize, hey, there's something about this. I know that there's a message here for me. And so today I hope that we will think about the time that it took. Mary just didn't hear the news and have the baby the next day. Doesn't work that way, as you know. As somebody once said, you can't be a little bit pregnant. So she had 9 months to gather her thoughts, to go off to see her favorite person, Elizabeth, and to talk about what was going to happen to her. And we all need someone in our lives when we're going through a birthing experience of something new, that we need someone that we can turn to and talk to and share what's going on. I call these angels people, angels unaware. And I know I had one during the last month that really helped me a lot. We all need to listen to the angels and to hear what they have to tell us, because it's in there. All the truth, all the scriptures, everything is inside you. And all you have to do is learn, as we've been talking this morning, about being still. Being still and listening to that presence of God. Well, she had a long time to prepare for this son. And she felt these emotions. I'm sure she did, as any young girl would today, having a baby. She was ashamed, she was scared, she was nervous, she didn't know what to expect. Probably she was a little bit afraid of the pain and suffering that comes with childbirth. But she hung in there and followed her instinct to follow the Word of God that came to her. She never complained when she was told that they would have to get on this donkey and ride to Bethlehem. You know, on a television show last night, it was about the birth of a baby in a car. I don't know what I flipped to. And here this baby was being born, and the mother was screaming and just carrying on with the dad. And finally they got to the hospital, and the baby was born in the car, and the dad was standing there, and all of a sudden he said to her, "Well, this is our new car, and we ordered this leather special." And she leaned over and went, boom. I can't imagine Mary riding that donkey, doing that to Joseph, but who knows? We don't know how that relationship went. No, we do. But anyway, it kind of, after I got through preparing this talk and I saw that movie, I thought, I don't believe this. But Mary was full of love and grace. And she had no ideas, although the shepherds had, or the angels had told her and Gabriel that, you know, people would come and worship this child. Can you imagine that? I mean, would you go out here into the mountains in a cave to see a baby that was born? But people did. They did, because they knew this meant something special to them. This was going to be one of the events that would be alive for years and years and years. This knowing of the birth of Christ. How wonderful that we can share and know this story. It would bring a new understanding that Jesus taught all of us how to be lovable, how to be kind, how to love our neighbor. Wow. Can you really love your neighbor? Do you understand the meaning of that? Sometimes we can't even love our cousins, let alone the neighbor. Jesus taught that, to forgive. Jesus came so that we would know how to forgive and how to love. Faith means to believe in the unbelievable. This week, we lit the candle for faith and hope. Hope means hoping when everyone else seems hopeless. Would you like to know what it would feel like to walk in Jesus' shoes? I would. I never will. I never will attain that, at least not in this lifetime, but I would like to know how that would be possible for me. I don't care about all the stories that people tell us now on TV that didn't happen. And the Christmas story, we can't say Christmas anymore. We have to say Happy Holidays. Not me. Not ever. I always say Merry Christmas. I always think that there is enough hope to carry us on for another year. Hope. Hope is the word that Mary had in her heart. Rick Warren, I'm sure you all recognize that name, lost his son a few years ago. And here's a man that really is famous for the books he's written, for the money he has, for how he doesn't take a salary. He gives all his money back to his church from the writing of his books. But he lost his son. And he said, hope always shines the brightest in the dark. And I had another friend that I love very much that used to say, hope always comes in the morning. The light will dawn. The Christ light will dawn. We will have another Christmas Eve service in which the Christ candle will light, representing that Christ will always be there. We just need to look for it. We just need to know it. He will come out in your speech, your actions, your decisions. Every place where you are is Bethlehem. And it will happen to you because you are here today. You wouldn't be here if you weren't searching for Christ, for that light of God in you. Paul knew this, and he understood that we have to realize that the presence of God is within us, and that we need to serve that God and know that our bodies are the temple of God. We are spiritual beings and we are human beings, and we walk those paths. Well, you may say, no, I'm too bad. God won't ever do anything for me. I don't believe in it. It's never going to happen. I've been too bad. It won't happen. And I can't stop drinking. I can't stop smoking, lusting, and all those things. And you know what? You're right. When you say, I can't, it's putting that out there, and you won't stop, because the only one that can help you in your challenges, in your overcoming, in the presence of Jesus Christ in you. Christ working with you. With God, all things are possible. All things can happen, but we must trust and love the Lord. Each of us have that tiny seed of the Christ planted in the manger in our hearts. It's kind of like in my garage, this little hollyhock is growing up through the cement, up the cement wall, and it's blooming. Now, it's blooming. That's the life of God, pushing that flower up. It doesn't know anything else but to do that. That's what its purpose was, and that's what it was meant for. So we have been planted on earth to have the Christ grow in us. Someday, like Paul, we can say, it is no longer I who live, but Christ that lives in me. So this year, join me at making another pledge. Every year I pledge, okay, God, this year I'm really going to do it. By the end of the year, I'm kind of falling off, but I'm trying. I'm trying every year to get better and better, to serve the Christ within, to serve God. And part of that is knowing that you are on that path too, and sharing that walk with you. I am so honored.